Hi everybody, I'm Crosbie from Finch Chevrolet in London, Ontario, Canada, and you're watching Cars and Crosby. We're going to talk about ordering. In particular, we're going to talk about option 1 ordering, which is for preferred pricing people that work at a business that qualifies for preferred pricing. So there's a relationship with General Motors. Let's say that you work for Microsoft or Pepsi. Those are companies that qualify for preferred pricing because of the relationship that your company that you work for and General Motors have. Now, also, if you're a gym employee, this is also something that applies to something called option 1 ordering. In Canada, we have a very unique process about being able to bypass the normal ordering allotment, and I'm going to go through it on today's episode. We're also going to talk about some Escalades, full-size SUVs. We've got constraints coming out there in terms of what we have coming out for the next few months. This is the time where I am ordering a ton of vehicles. March is looking like it's going to be a windfall, and right now those orders that we will have arriving in March are being built and ordered right now. And if you want a vehicle for the spring, this is the episode you need to watch starting right now. Okay, first and foremost, if you're just starting to follow this channel, I'm making videos to help you out in giving you a proper experience when ordering a vehicle. I like to specialize in the higher end stuff, and that's really where I can excel in giving you guys some proper expectations and also helping you in navigating the process. The great thing about the day that we live in now with my dealership is I have a killer allotment, and it doesn't need to be a local dealership to order you the vehicle now. So if you're watching this video and you're a Canadian and you're looking at a vehicle and you live in a different province or a place that's 5 hours away from London, Ontario, that's fine. I would be more than happy to help you out. I sell coast to coast, and my allotment is large enough that I'm going to be able to help you out in getting stuff. So if you learned something from this video and you're trying to get a vehicle, this might be a great opportunity for you to reach out to my team. Option 1. This is a specific program that started a boot during the pandemic, and I still think to this day it's something that a lot of people don't realize about. I should have done this video a lot earlier. I didn't, but right now, because I'm very inundated with the amount of people that are ordering vehicles for me, I'm starting to find that there is a lot of people that qualify for these programs that don't realize it, and it can change your entire expectation and timeline on getting a vehicle. You may not think right now that you can get one. Not to say that this is a word track that we use, but a lot of people right now that are calling around trying to find a diesel Escalade or a nice AT4X or something like that are getting a response from their dealership that goes a little like this. Hi, I'm looking for a diesel Escalade. It's going to be a 6 to 8 month wait, Mr. Customer. You're going to have to get onto a waiting list. I have that at my dealership in terms of there being a waiting list for a lot of different vehicles. And you know what I would say is that there is some programs that can help you in circumnavigating that. If you do have a family member that works for General Motors and you qualify for employee pricing. Also, if you work for a tier 1 supplier, there is a website that is linked in this description called GM Preferred Pricing. If you put your company's name in this website, it will immediately tell you if you qualify to be able to get option 1 ordering. What this is something that started during the pandemic. I'm going to be very frank with you guys, and I've always been that way on my channel, and I hope you guys can appreciate this. We're a business, and if we get 20 Escalades in a year, and there's a huge demand for them because they're the hottest kid on the block, it goes without saying that we're going to be pricing these vehicles accordingly. Preferred pricing means that you get the vehicle at cost plus 2.5%. On GM Employee, you get the vehicle at dead cost. There's no jumping through hoops. It's exactly how it sounds. If I have only 20 Escalades, I'm just using a round number here, it doesn't make a lot of sense for me to be giving these Escalades to people at cost or just above. So what was happening was a lot of people during the pandemic were being neglected that qualified for these programs. So General Motors created the option 1 ordering process to allow these orders to be placed and not affect my allotment. So I still get my 20 Escalades, But on top of that, if you're a GM employee, you can circumnavigate and just go right to the front of the line and getting your order placed on a separate line. So it's a completely separate process. This is something that I have to get an authorization number from you up front in order to place. So you can't just tell me that you're a GM employee or that you work at Pepsi. You know, there's so many different tier 1 suppliers. If you work in an industry that is geared towards helping out making a vehicle, whether it be that you have a company, you work for a company that makes wheels, Bros, Lear, Magna, I can go on and on with General Dynamics, General Electric. There's hundreds of them out there. Plug your company in there. Even consulting and banking agencies, TD Bank, RBC, Deloitte, accounting firms, stuff like that. They're all on there, and you can qualify. And not only yourself, but your spouse can qualify as well. So if you have a preferred pricing eligibility, you and your spouse can get it. If you are a GM employee, your grandfather can be a GM employee and you can qualify. You can be an in-law and still qualify. Aunts, uncles, cousins, all of it are aligned. So reach out. You just had Christmas. You should have asked everybody what they do for a living if you didn't already. Maybe at Easter dinner, maybe do some networking in your family and find out what you have, because this is going to allow you to be able to get to the front of my list and order a vehicle the way you want at cost or just above. So this is really a great time, because it looks like right now the name of the game with General Motors is placing orders. This has historically been what this time of the year is about. And I really enjoy the fact that we're kind of reverting back to a normal schedule where in the winter months we don't have as much volume that comes in, and then in the spring we make hay when the sun shines. So right now I am doing a lot of work on making sure that my processes are tip top, and that when you come into the dealership in peak season, that I have an efficient process that's going to give you the best quality experience. And this is the time for self-reflection, but also a time for placing a ton of orders. You know, on the hit list this week I did get a Z07. So we do have one of 8 Corvettes that were given in Canada coming through our dealership. So we're 2 for 2 in terms of the batches of Z06s that have come through Canada. First batch came in the fall, which was 15. We got a Z06 that we turned into a Z07 with the exposed carbon fiber aero package. And then we just got one of 8 Corvettes that came to Canada, and we got a Z07. There was 4 vehicles that were allowed to have the aero package on the last batch that came to Canada for the Z07 or Z06. We got a non-exposed version. The customer was looking for an exposed carbon fiber version. He was excited to be able to show it off at car shows and have the greatest example known to man of what the exposed carbon fiber was all about. And unfortunately, I couldn't do that. I could only get him the painted version. So this was an unfortunate thing. I did some digging, and the good, bad, and the ugly is something that I've always also promoted on my channel in terms of being transparent. And I want to give you a little interesting breakdown of what's going on with exposed carbon fiber. One of the things that I was frustrated about when we were ordering this vehicle was that if you have no exposed carbon fiber high wing, you cannot get the exposed carbon fiber wheels or ground effects. So it all comes together, or it's an all or nothing kind of situation. And the price point on the painted carbon fiber wheels and the painted carbon fiber ground effects is very slightly less. Like it's like $1,000 to $2,000 less than the exposed version. And I was really kind of I've always kind of been perplexed at why that was. I reached out to some sources, and it turns out that when there's an imperfection in the finish on an exposed carbon fiber one, they paint it and then they turn it into a painted version. So that leads me to question if I could possibly look at stripping that paint off and bringing the exposed carbon fiber version out in the event that the customer understands that there may be a flaw or a bubble in the clear coat. I'm thinking mainly about the wheels, which are going to be dirty and covered in stuff regardless. So this is something that, with me being General Motors dealer, I've got to be very careful with, but I'm always looking to think outside the box. And if this customer wants exposed carbon fiber on their $200,000 Z07, then I'm going to try my best to be able to deliver that and use GM parts. I think this is also going to be a free-for-all for a lot of aftermarket companies out there that make exposed carbon fiber, if General Motors is not really handling the capacity of how many people are wanting to deal with this. It's unfortunate that this is the case, but again, me being the pragmatic individual with this situation, you're still getting a Z07, and at the end of the day, I really got to commend General Motors on always putting out a product that they can put their name behind instead of just putting something out. So, you know, setting yourself up for failure by putting a flawed exposed carbon fiber ground effects kit, which in Canadian dollars is $12,000, is not a good business strategy. You know, you're paying good money for that, and I think that with them having an alternative route that does not demolish this and still gets the customer something on their vehicle is a healthy compromise. That to me is a logic that I think is sincere, and you know, it leaves the opportunity for aftermarket companies to try to step in and let General Motors focus on making sure that the dual clutch transmission is amazing. You know, just the engineering that's going on with this E-Ray. One of the biggest things that I'm geeking out on right now is the transition, and I remember that they have a cool name for it. I forgot what it is. When you're going from stealth mode into the ICU, so when they start up the LT2. Think about this. You have a separate battery-controlled electronic front drive unit in it that's driving, and then you have a separate internal combustion engine power unit in the back powered by a transmission. This system is separate. So to think of these two systems having to you know, congeal and become one is absolutely remarkable. And to have that flawless transition is something that I'm really excited to learn more about. That's going to be my geeky questions that I ask the Corvette team when I go down to Bowling Green. I don't know if I told you guys this, but I'm going to be going down to the Bash. I'm really excited about that. I'm hoping to see the new colors, hint, hint, nudge, nudge, that will be released for the 24 model year. That's really where I sink my teeth into and giving you guys a healthy expectation for what's going on for designing and stuff like that. Ordering right now, again, is doing really well. We're getting a healthy amount of allotment. Full-size SUVs is starting to wane a bit, but the good news is that the diesel engine allotment has gone from 15% to 30% on full-size SUVs, and I believe it's 40% on the trucks. So to see the allotment on trucks for diesel engines finally increase is really great. The biggest thing that I wanted to talk about today, though, guys, was the option 1 ordering process. This allows you guys to be able to place your order with me right away. I have a car hauler, so if you're getting something that's a sports car, I can bring it to your doorstep. I also have a team that can deliver it to you. So you live in Kingston, you're like, I don't want to buy a car in London. No problem. We'll bring it to you. So this is the type of service that I expect if I was going to be ordering a $100,000 vehicle. And so we're reciprocating that experience and making it so that this world that we live in has gotten a little bit smaller, and that you have somebody that can help you out in creating a great experience in your next General Motors vehicle. So we're going to go out to the lot and see a couple of my deliveries that I have. I got a really cool Escalade that we're sported out. So it's a non-V. I would almost call it like a V Sport because it's not a real V, but we did some fun stuff to it. And we'll do a little quick showroom walk through and wrap this episode up. All right, lot walk time. Lots of updates on the lot. First things first, welcome to Canada. This is a little bit more like what we're used to having here in Canada. And yeah, we're gonna go through some stuff. First thing we have that's new on the lot, Ultium charging stations. These here are set up for people to come in that are in desperate need off the street. This is a major artery that connects to the highway system or the interstate for all you Yanks in terms of what we call it here. It's called the 401. We've got about 6 of them. They're all over the place. So we're going to have eventually a Lyric here probably for people to try out, or I can guarantee you we do have a Lyric coming just for that. We have just purchased the second Lyric that we have coming in, which is rear-wheel drive, in order to make sure that we have one always here if you're interested in trying out the new Ultium platform. And there is, through Flow, which is a company out of Quebec, charging stations here in the front, which are just a basic level 2, but we got some big boys in the back, so when you're in for service you can get it charged up. Escalades are coming in. We're putting the Onyx package on these. This one just got back from being tinted, blacked out, triple black as we call it. That's platinum right there. And then we have this one that just came in on trade. Someone did the wheels, but they did not do the logos. AutoIQ.com, I don't know what you are, but shame on you for not doing the Cars and Crosby touch. We've got black diamond editions that are on their way out. They're covered in snow right now, which we're gonna wipe off. But this is, in my opinion, one of my favorite builds. Just a full out HD diesel Denali. One healthy suggestion that I had for the customer was to get this done all blacked out here. I like the contrast of the grille, but he said, no, I want to leave it original. And I didn't argue with him. In the showroom, we've got a bunch of changes. The Aston Martin is gone. The Z06 is gone. Down at the end is the GT 500. It's going to Alberta. We still have all of these Corvettes still available. So we got rid of 2 of them. Build a Corvette right now in 2023 numbers. Take into consideration the wait time. When you see the difference in price between what a 2023 is and, for example, this 2020, and it being a 2LT Z51 with a decent amount of options, you'll notice right away that, yes, it is more than what the window sticker was originally, but not far off from what the window sticker on a 2023 would be. And I don't know about you, but I would rather get something now if I'm just starting to look at my search and saying that I want a Corvette than to wait 2 years for a new one. And when you take into consideration what depreciation would be on that vehicle and what, you know, the amount of joy and fun that you would have from driving, the cost benefit analysis in my mind makes complete sense. So this is on its way out. If you're following along with my logic here, you know, when I bought my C7, for example, it was 82 grand. I didn't have enough at the time to be able to afford to do a Grand Sport. I just had the Z51. I drove it for 35,000 kilometers, and then my friend, or became my friend, Danny, ended up purchasing it in the high 50s. And that was an understandable and justifiable purchase. I looked at the 30,000 kilometers that I put on the Corvette and the amount of memories that I had, and I could justify that kind of depreciation. So if you take into consideration that if you're wanting to get into a C8, that the price of my used ones is right in and around what the price of a 2023 is, and that you don't have to wait 2 years, and that you could put yourself on my list, drive the 2020 or 2021 or 2022 that I have in the showroom, and then trade it in for a normal amount of depreciation, which could be variable. I'm not even going to try to Miss Cleo for you guys what the amount would be, because who can tell anything about what's going to happen more than 2 or 3 months into the future these days. But if I had to guess, the normal calculation in normal times was $10,000 a year. So, you know, $500-600 a month in terms of depreciation to drive a Corvette sounds like a pretty good obligation to me. And you can't put a price on the fun that you can have in a Corvette, especially if you don't have one. This is a V Sport Cars and Crosby Finch Cadillac Special. It's not a V. V over there is very fun. We just hit 7,000 kilometers with it. And we have some nice Michelin tires on my V that I'm going to talk about in a later episode. We have the Onyx package that's on this regular Sport. And like I had on mine, he dared greatly and went with the Whisper Beige. The non-platinum Whisper Beige is probably one of my favorite interiors that you can get on a vehicle. You've got jet black piping. You've got the 19 speaker AKG sound system, but you got the zebra wood. This is what we have in my Cadillac V, and I absolutely love it. With the lighter interior, I can't get enough of this contrast. It's got fixed boards because this is a non-platinum. So that's the easiest way to tell right off the bat if it's a platinum or not, is if it has running boards or doesn't, then it's fixed. We've got these from the Onyx package, and then we've also got on here, if I just double tap the remote start, a Corsa exhaust. So Corsa exhaust has been done to this with the Onyx package, making this thing get all sportied up on here for the winter driving season ahead of this guy. Oh shoot, that was not good. Well, luckily I still have the packaging still on here, but we'll get a little bit of this out. We obviously keep these wrapped up as much as possible until the delivery. So on Monday, we're gonna have this one go out, and I'm excited to see the customer's face when he gets his V Sport from Cars and Crosby and Finch Cadillac. I'm Morgan Crosby. Stay tuned for more awesome content. If you like something about this video, you learned something that was nice, hit that subscribe button. It really helps me out in keeping my metrics and learning about what you guys are wanting. If you have a question, my email's in the bottom. If you're wanting to start a project and you want to see if you qualify, hit that preferred pricing link, see if your company's on there, and then reach out to me and we can place your order. Stay tuned for more awesome content, and happy motoring.